going on, Jerome's. So a lot of Vikings fans have already written off Thursday night's game. How are the Vikings ever going to beat the Eagles in Philly? Blah, 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 blah. Jalen Carter, defensive tackle superstar, getting after it. And again, we said this before. People are shocked that he's good. Like, he's the best defensive interior player that's come to the league in the last couple of years. And how the NFL allowed the Eagles to pick up Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith is just ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. But the Eagles' interior pass rush is redonkulous. So this is from ESPN's Next Gen Stats. The Eagles accounted for the three quickest defenders by interior pass rush get off in week 1. Minimum of 15 pass rushes. Jalen Carter, Fletcher Cox, and Milton Williams, all at sub 7.2 seconds. So whatever. So we're a little bit nervous in the service, and Garrett Bradbury is probably going to miss the game with a back injury. Ed Ingram allowed 4 pressures and a sack, as well as caused a forced fumble. Like the Vikings defense, Brian Flores' Vikings defense, 0 forced fumbles this year. Ed Ingram 1. And also Ezra Cleveland is a left tackle trapped in a left guard's body. No. He's a left guard trapped in he should be playing left tackle somewhere. And the Vikings, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. So on the edge, they still got the veteran Brandon Graham. Josh Sweat had himself a sack against the Patriots. They racked up 26 pressures and 3 sacks against Mac Jones and company. Also, they got Hassan Reddick on the outside, can bring the heat. But the interior is where there's going to be a lot of questions. So Fletcher Cox, even though he was limited with a rib injury, he's still going to go. Again, the veteran getting it done. Jordan Davis, the rock-solid nose tackle. And then they got Milton Williams, the third-round pick from 2021, as well as Jalen Carter, the rookie superstar. And it's going to be a tall order. And the Vikings offensive line probably going to be without Garrett Bradbury. Schlubin is a perfectly fine backup center. And also Darisaw dinged up with that ankle, not 100%. And it could be tough. It could be a tough game in Philly, but you got to believe. Keep Skull alive. So here are 5 ways that the Vikings can stop the Eagles' prodigious pass rush. Number 1, pray. So that's it. Or, I don't know, meteor? Who knows? But really, number 1. Max protect from 21 personnel. Now, the Vikings, we said that. The Vikings signing of Josh Oliver, the extending of T.J. Hawkinson, Johnny Munt being the best tight end 3 in the National Football League. The Vikings want to play with multiple tight ends, and they like that flexibility, and they're going to have to show it off in Philly. And Josh Oliver played 30 of 64 snaps, just under 50%. Johnny Munt was in there for 5. Hawk was in there for 48. And what they're going to have to do is they're going to have multiple tight ends on the field all at once. C.J. Ham is probably going to have to get in the mix as well. And what they can do when you're having 7 at minimum blocking up front, you're able to double team inside, and the tight ends are able to get a chip on the edge. So that's what the Vikings are going to have to do up front because, again, the Eagles front 7 is pretty damn crazy. And, Jalen Carter, the Patriots made a big-time mistake singling him up. He had 8 pressures. He was the highest-graded defensive rookie via PFF, and the Vikings are going to have to, wherever 98 is, they're going to have to double-team him and go from there. Next up, number 2 way that the Vikings can stop the Eagles' pass rush, got to run the ball, right? So, again, it's week 2. Guys aren't necessarily in football shape as it were, and running the ball, being able to grind a little bit of clock. That's how the Buccaneers got it done against the Vikings, and the Vikes have to turn the tables and do it against the Eagles. Now, fully understand. Week 1 was not great for the Vikings running backs. Madison and Ty Chandler combined for 34 rushing yards on 14 carries, 2.43 yards per carry, which is not. I don't have a notebook in front of me, so y'all got like a screwdriver set. It's not good. It's no bueno. And the Eagles, yes, the Eagles up front are different than last year because, no Linval, no Ndamukong Suh, add in some Jalen Carter. But last year, the Eagles did allow 4.6 yards per carry, 24th in the National Football League. So the Vikings are going to have to get something going up front. And also, if they're able to run the ball successfully up front, which Ed Ingram, Ezra Cleveland can do, Schlutman can do, Darisaw definitely can do. Same thing with O'Neal. That gets them some confidence going, and it'll allow Kevin O'Connell to get into a flow, get some play action going as well, and then go from there. Next up, how the Vikings can stop the Eagles pass rush, number 3. Effective screen game. So It was so frustrating watching the Hawkinson tight end screens go for negative yards against the Buccaneers. They were prepped and they're ready to go for that. But other screens the Vikings can use. Ty Chandler was extremely effective out of the backfield last week. Same thing with Alexander Madison. He's very phenomenal as a receiver. Getting the ball out quick to receivers. Bubble screens, tunnel screens, everything like that. Just getting the ball out quick and making that defensive line chase. Next up, number 4, the quick game. So 5 and 7 step drops, and they ain't gonna work. Crowd noise in there, and also I'm not buying the fact that Ezra and Schlutman and Ed Ingram are gonna be able to block Fletcher Cox, even if he's not 100%, or Jalen Carter for more than 5 seconds or 3 seconds even. So the Vikings are going to have to go with that quick game. 3-step drops, get the ball out of Kirk's hands quick. Combine that with max protect, combine that with running the ball, combine that with the screen game. I think they'll give themselves a fighting chance. Also, boot action, get Kirk out on the perimeter, slide that pocket protection, and go from there. And lastly, up tempo. So, like we said, it's week 2, and guys, especially the defensive linemen, aren't necessarily in football shape. So making them move consistently, especially early on in the game, would be the way to go. And you're going to be in hostile territory, so simplifying communication, not going 2-minute drill, going no huddle. Simplifying things would make a ton of sense. And also, the Vikings get the Eagles a little bit on their heels. They hit them with the quick game. They're able to get a couple of points early and often, take the crowd out of the game, get that defensive line tired, especially later in the game when it's crunch time. That all could add up to the Vikings stealing one on the road here. So the thing about it is that this is all very obvious, and Kevin O'Connell and Wes Phillips, they have to know this, and also that they knew that it was a short week heading to week 2, so I'm sure that they already had a game plan banked in the off season headed into the regular season. So again, none of this is a surprise. So if the Vikings come out with just an old, tired, cut and paste vanilla offensive game plan where they're trying to 7-step drops, long, developing plays downfield, it ain't going to happen. It ain't going to work. And singling up Ed Ingram or Ezra against Jalen Carter, they ain't going to work either. So the Vikings, they know what they have to do. Now get after it. Get after it on Thursday night. But your thoughts are thoughts. 5 ways the Vikings can stop the Eagles' pass rush. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.